lending the experience to every. Lending the experience to every. Lending the experience to every. Pauline Piri, Endless Piri, Charity Mubanga. Pauline Piri, Endless Piri, Charity Mubanga, Tandiwe Ndlovu, Judith Soko, Avel Chitundo, Penelope Maluba, Majorie Mulenga, Mabel Bwalia, Jacqueline Chonga. Coach Florence Chaka has got a strong bench in Dorothy Daka, Mila Milambo, Leticia Lungu, and Elizabeth Mpeso.
Coming up with a 4-3-3 formation where you're going to be looking at Mulenga as your defensive midfielder to be protecting the back four of Zulu Ngaza, and looking at the front three of ZESCO Ndola Girls. But Silver Strikers, they have made 2 changes from the side which was beating Isingizine. Irene Sibande, Chikondo Dube, Irene Kumalo, Gondo twin sisters are starting today. Winim Umvula, Teunge Piri, Ruth Nyurongo, the bench, Butman, Mandala. But you look at how they are, Justin Jambo and Evelyn Kamang.
Well, they line up in a 4-4-2 formation with Sibanda in goal, Piri and Gondwe, 2 fullbacks that will be making their way up front to assist and give the numbers in the attacking, threatening areas. But it is Gondwe and Guluba, the 2 holding midfielders that will make sure that they protect and screen the back row. Goals are expected from Kangula and Caroline Mathiola. She was in a hat-trick in the previous match. Today will be no different. Let's make sure that they bring their right foot forward. Well, here are the coaches whose job is basically done. You're looking at Coach Patrizio Olexio Kulumeka, and he is from Malawi, and Florence Nkatia of Zambia. Well, referee, that Senior Singh Tsepe gets us underway, and it is the ZESCO Ndola Girls and Silver Strikers. Silver Strikers in their white with a bit of blue trimmings. They attacking the goal from the left to the right of your screen. And ZESCO Ndola Girls, the girls that are powered by a utility that has made sure that this team is well looked after. They are in orange and attacking the goals from the right to the left of your screen. So the ball over the top. Good take from the middle. Well, how did they get here? The road to this particular semi-final is one that has been filled with thrills and spills. We're talking about ZESCO Ndola Girls, who won their first match by 5 goals to 2, having led by 3-1 in the break. We then go to the Lesotho Defence Force, and that was also on the receiving end, and they picked that one, a hard-worked 1-0, and the player getting onto the score sheet was none other than Endless Piri, a player who has really set this tournament alight. Gaborone United were also on the receiving end of a very fluid and fluent side in ZESCO Ndola Girls. But here's a moment of attack as Kangula is the player on the ball looking to whip that ball in, but not too many white jerseys to aim for. It's come in the form of support coming in from Mvula. Over the top is Gondwe. And the defense there of Pauline Zulu just making sure that that ball is hacked away.
Silver Strikers come here as the runner-ups in Group B. You look at their journey. They started with beating Costa del Sol of Mozambique 2-1. They went down to Mamelodi Sundowns 3-0. There's the question.
Ball is in the air. Now his finest with the 4-3-3 formation. He's absolutely not too concerned. He wants to surprise ZESCO. When we're looking, no changes from ZESCO. It's been a consistent setup throughout. Maybe one or two changes here and there, but this team today comes out exactly the same as the game that was played in the previous match. No changes made by Florence Katia. She's not a coach that believes in chopping and changing of a team. So pretty much predictable, though, for oppositions.
You also don't change your team. Why fix it if it's not broken? So they say it's an issue of the players having that cohesion, having that understanding. Hence the reason why ZESCO, they are flawless. You know, you look at how they attack players like Ndlovu, players like NLS Piri, cutting in, going outside, putting in those crosses. We are anticipating that. But as for Silver Strikers tonight, having made two changes, the Gondo sister coming in, they will also be looking at picking that midfield glow, so that ZESCO Ndola Girls don't just easily penetrate through the defense of, four players, Nyurongo, Dube, Piri, Gondwe. They're going to have to be careful against the speedy wingers of ZESCO Ndola Girls, NLS Piri, Ndlovu. And also ZESCO, they're going to have to be careful of Caroline, battle of Jesse Sevens.
Absolutely. Ball being just trickling over the line, unable to keep it in play is Kangula. So it is a throw-in for ZESCO Ndola Girls, a team that was purchased, previously known as Didi Sunshine, 2023. They were acquired by ZESCO as an backwards, but she's a player that will create space for the opposition to attack. Or for her teammates to attack, rather, and eventually sneaks her way through. Here's NLS Piri. Judith Soccer has been fantastic for ZESCO Ndola Girls in that defense. Silver Strikers. There's a bit of calm, there's a bit of a game management here where there's no overexertion. The match is not played at a high intensity, but it's more brain than brawn right now. Players not wanting to make that mistake, and very early it is about cautious approach.
Very cautious. The one thing that I have to compliment them is that most of the time we are seeing the ball on the ground. We are not seeing high balls because of the wind that is going around Gaborone today. So calm. Teams started. We'll see who will give us the first strike, the first something that can, we can write home about.
Well, for the moment, the ball has gone out. It is a throw-in. 5 minutes on the clock. Still pretty early, tender exchanges between the two sides, and that is a foul throw, which will allow turnover ball. In actual fact, that's a free kick that has been given with 6 minutes on the clock. Chitundu picks that ball up in the middle, intercepts it for ZESCO. Ngurue does well to protect that ball. Nice take on the chest with a bit of a push right in front of the referee. That is Irene Kumalo, the 23-year-old, who was voted as the best defender. That was in the awards ceremony out in Malawi. The first time that we've had such, and we really got to congratulate the progress that is being made in Malawian football. The president, Mr. Fleetwood, is doing a fantastic job, and with that we also have seen the Scorchers do exceptionally well during the WAFCON. So there's got to be something good happening in Malawi football. Here's ZESCO. Picked up, stopped in her tracks. Where's Mvula? There's Chitundu. Not too much in a hurry to go forward. Nguruwe. Penelope Malubwa. Nice lanky player. She's another one of those players who will be soon leaving the shores of Zambia together with Endless Piri if they continue on this wave of producing excellent performances as we have a look at that challenge. A little bit of a nibble on the toes and the player being protected by the referee. On the receiving end of a free kick is ZESCO Ndola Girls. Free kick, that ball pretty much wasted, goes all the way out, and Pauline Zulu's played over 300 and who's played 270 minutes. That is every minute of every match.
So far, looking at the approach and the structure of Silver Strikers, you gotta compliment Caroline when they are defending Silver Strikers. She comes inside to help her team defend. They know the danger of ZESCO Ndola Girls, the winners Piri as well as Ndlovu. So far, it's working for them in the middle of the park. It's so packed. We're gonna have to see what ZESCO Ndola Girls are going to bring, more especially Mulubra as well as Shindundu in that midfield.
Well, basically, you've got to get players that are able to defend and attack you. You really need to use the utility players, and your work rate is certainly something that gets you the nod and gets you into the starting lineup. You can't be that one-footed player. You can't be that player that only knows how to play one position. You've got to be absolutely fluid. You've got to be a player who has the element. The modern game is requiring that wherever you play on the wings, you've got to have the defensive element. If you are playing at the back, you've got to have the attacking impetus as well. Hence, you're finding that the fullbacks go forward. You find the wingbacks coming back and making sure that they do assist and pack that midfield. So for the moment, it's Silver Strikers with Kangula. And maybe showing a little too much of the ball. Eventually a turnover ball, and that ball goes out for a throw-in. So it's a throw-in for Silver Strikers. Ball inside the box as it is whipped away. This time Agnes Kanza's come in for ZESCO Ndola Girls. Ball whipped into the box and being laid back. The opening goal, a mistake made, and that is the first goal of the match by Maluba, Penelope Maluba, reacting quickest in a defense that not went to sleep, but was taking too much of a risk in a situation like that. That ball improvised with the back heel, and ZESCO get the first goal.
Silver Strikers, the first 10 minutes of this encounter seemed to be the settled side. They were possessing the ball. They were having that great movement. The ZESCO Ndola Girls, they took the ball. They did the needful attack goal.
It was a throw-in coming from the right-hand side. Ball whipped into the box that looked very harmless, but laid it back, and delightfully so. When you look at the defending in the box, I think defending from the right and from the wrong side, Caroline left there to grimace in pain, and we can just give the first goal that goes to Penelope Maluba. First goal of the tournament for Penelope.
The mistake that happened there, Silver Strikers defense, they went with the ball. They were not guarding players without the ball. They were looking at where the ball is, went there, and forgot that there are players without the ball in the box.
Is Caroline being dispossessed? Caroline being dispossessed. I don't think that's a goal that coach Patricio wanted. Unsettling it in the early 10 minutes of the match, an early goal. But for the fans that have come out to witness the semi-final, that is exactly what they want to see, which is goals and more goals. Outnumbered in that defense, criminal defending by Silver Strikers. Caroline was the only player in that defense, and yet she's actually a forward.
A forward who was at the back defending, and the defense of Dube, Nyirongo, Gondwe and Piri, they have to know better. They have to do better than that.
All the ball is in the air, whipped away, but Silver Strikers will win it back in that midfield area. Ball goes out for a throw-in. Chionge Piri, the 26-year-old, who was part of the Scorchers set up out in Morocco. As much as that being the case, she is looking forward to an early birthday present. That is Chionge Piri. She turns 27 tomorrow. There's Ndlovu cutting through and unleashing, but that's not to trouble the goalkeeper. So ZESCO Ndola Girls getting the early goal that will allow them a little bit of ease, but this is a team that is known that they will be firing on all cylinders and looking to punish you at every opportunity. Endless Piri creates space for herself. She's on the bicycle. There's a couple of kabadzas that we need on this touchline to help Silver Strikers to maybe arrest Endless Piri. The kabadzas have been laid on the side, specifically on the touchline. And Endless Piri is really clocking the kilometers with such pace. Corner. Needs a good quality ball, and doesn't she do so perfectly well? Ball delivered in the penalty area. Did not have that much swing, but had enough to be quite troublesome. Here's Silver Strikers playing it backwards. It's Nguruve, keeper, who's already picked the ball out of a net once. Ruth Nyirongo, received by Chikondi Gondwe. Good start by the Gondwe family, who've got the twins on the field. This is history being made. You've got Chikondi Gondwe and Mphatso Gondwe, the twins. Their dad must be really proud. This is Stereo, who is a coach in the Elite League for Monaco, for Mafco FC. Super proud of his daughters. Daddy's goals. Ball over the top. Nguruwe. And the referee is very quick to blow the whistle for that particular challenge. We confirm that the scoreline is ZESCO Ndola Girls 1, Silver Strikers 0.
The mistake there by Silver Strikers. So far, Silver Strikers, we look at them in the middle of the park, they are losing the balls easily, more especially when they try and, build from the back. They're losing the balls so easily. They need to up their game. They need to, pass those balls with so much ease.
Passing it with so much ease. Yes, ZESCO going forward. Ndlovu trying to keep it in play, and does that. In actual fact, that ball having trickled over the line for a throw-in, but you can't fault Ndlovu for effort. She really tried to keep that in play. Is Endless Piri, silent assassin, delivers the ball out to the right-hand side. Brilliant piece of play. It's Charity Mubanga. Charity getting onto the score sheet. 2-0, the scoreline. Quick 1-2. Endless Piri got involved, dispossessed the ball, made her way to the attacking third. And unselfishly, that is where she starts a run. Lays it out to the right-hand side. Again, criminal defending. Keeper could do nothing about it. Charity Mubanga gets her name on the score sheet. Beautiful, beautiful piece of play. Placement perfection. And again, you got to give credit to Ennis Piri, a player in the season who scored 16 goals and 39 assists. And she's out doing pretty much the same. She's got 3 goals in this tournament. She's got 3 assists. What more can you ask of her?
What more can you ask of her? And you can tell the defenders of Silver Strikers, 4 defenders around her, they know how dangerous she is. Once again, they went to where the ball was. The ball was with Ennis Piri. They went to there. They went with her. Mubanga all alone. You know, beautiful run from her. Picked her spot with the goalkeeper coming out, making it easier for her to get a brace.
Well, that was deflating and I'm sure damaging for Silver Strikers who were looking. There's Condre with a bit of a reverse pass, but that not coming through as Annie Namonja just made sure that she will push her players forward and push her defenders forward and look for a long ball that she sends up front. It is a mountain to climb for Silver Strikers, letting in 2 goals. So, 2 different goal scorers. One thing you love about ZESCO Ndola Girls is when you're expecting the damage to be done by Chitundu, someone else comes out to deliver the goods. When you're looking for Ndlovu, you'll find Ennis Piri, your Silver Strikers, with keeping the ball. Chikondi Dube on the ball. Chikondi, good turn. Picks up Ruth Nyerongo. There's Chitundu. Player goes down and a free kick is given to Silver Strikers.
Silver Strikers, the coach and the technical team, they need to look at the structure, how they came up with, 2 defensive midfielders in Gulu as well as Gondo. What do they do now, looking at the fact that they are trailing by 2-0? Maybe have one as your CDM, have one to help in attack, to try help Caroline as well as Kakangula. The foul there, which guaranteed a yellow card for the captain, Chitundu.
Avel Chitundu getting into the referee's book. Ball gone out. Ball with 20 minutes on the clock. Silver Strikers. The defense bridged on 2 occasions. Ndlovu cutting through. She could take the strike, but she shares it with Avel Chitundu. Picked up by Mejeri Mulenga. And into the hands of Sibande. Just one player left in the attacking outlet. That is Grace Kangula. Grace Kangula. You've got the midfield that is packed with the numbers, almost a 4-5-1. But there was a clear indication that they were going a 4-4-2 in this particular match. But again, when you're dealing with such attacking threats from ZESCO on the left and the right-hand side. This is a team that knows how to use the width of the pitch and are absolutely exceptional in terms of their counter-attack and also their transitional play. Absolutely impressive.
Absolutely impressive. But when you talk about the changes that Silver Strikers made, it also showed that they're very cautious. They took out Mhango, who is a forward, brought in a midfielder, took out Manda, who is a midfielder, and brought in a defender. They wanted to be cautious. But this is the first goal of ZESCO Ndola Girls. The defense there went where the ball was, forgot that, you know what, there is a player making a run. Caroline left all alone in that defense, but she is an attacker. The second goal there, Ls Piri, 4 players around her. Beautiful run by Mubanda to give ZESCO the second goal, with the goalkeeper advancing, making things a little bit more easier for her for the second of the game.
A concern for me in that defense, everyone is chasing the player with the ball, which means that in moments when Silver Strikers were looking to attack, they forgot about their defensive element, and with ZESCO attacking, then they were out of position and now find themselves chasing the game instead. As a defender, you should be seeing and having a clear view of your attackers. So pretty much on the wrong side of their attackers is Silver Strikers. Getting it wrong on the day. I think coming into this match a little bit shell-shocked, maybe feeling inferior. But in the business end of this tournament, there is no time to feel inferior. It is about going and doing the business. And when we talk about business, ZESCO Ndola Girls are in the business of trying to finish unfinished business.
They have unfinished business, but Silver Strikers Glow, the spaces that they leave behind the defense is something that they need to work on. Irene Sibande, she needs to be more vocal. She is the only one being left alone, seeing everything that is happening. She needs to guide her defense here and there. But the midfield, which is very much packed also, they need to understand their roles. They need to know who to mark, when to do it, and when to run to try and get that goal, which is very important for them to get.
Well, ZESCO with a throw-in and a header away. Looking to help it on is Wezi Mvula. Wezi also played a football out in Tanzania in 2023. Wezi, she played for a team called Tigers in Tanzania. It's a good way to help players to grow mentally and contribute immensely, as we look at Kangula here, who's looking to pick out Tionge Piri. Instead, that ball just goes astray. And riding a challenge is Mpaso Gondwe. And a free kick. Mpase Gondwe. She's coming in to shore up that midfield alongside her sister Chikondi Gondwe. So free kick to ZESCO. Pauline Zulu. Try and keep it on the ground instead of hoisting it. You can see the flight of that ball. So you have Silver Strikers that are probably playing with the wind at the back of them and should be taking advantage of that. Playing with the wind. You can see the trees there just indicating that we have a little bit of a wind. It is traveling at about 11 kilometers, I'm told, by my producers, who went and did a quick check of that with the weatherman. Good take by Endless Piri. Irene Kumalo. Very strong defenders, Irene Kumalo. She's played this competition before, is Irene Kumalo, but with Green Buffaloes of Zambia. That was another player from Malawi that made the trip down to Lilongwe. Green Buffaloes, who have really paved the way for women's football in Zambia. Brought in some fantastic players in the past, and were very much key drivers in the Copper Queens national team. That ball trickling over the line, eventually just going out for a throw-in. ZESCO quickly taking it. Jacqueline Chomba, another one of those players that was part of the Copper Queens. Basso Tionge. The assistant to Patricio Kulumeka of Silver Strikers was voted as the coach of the year out in Malawi. Yes, Endless Piri. He releases Chitundo. Keepers quickly off a line. Keepers quickly off a line. Ruth Nyirongo. 30 years of age is Miss Ngulube, who's operating on the left-hand side. She also played her football, when I checked, with Lusaka Dynamos. That is Mariana. And recently at the WAFCON, when I checked, she was a player that had played in 3 of those 6 games before them losing in that final. That is Ngulube. Contribution was immense in that tournament. They went in there with no fear. They just played their football. The one really got to appreciate the work that was done by the technical team to prepare the Scorchers for a tournament. We got to see the best of African players on display. Rachel Kudananji, we were so unfortunate that she ended up injured. But what a player. Barbara Banda, also starting her stuff. And not forgetting the Chawinga sisters. Malawi's never been the same when it comes to football. And one thing that is also exceptional about women's football in Malawi is the fact that you've got a tournament that is put together by the Chawinga systems that is played by a number of clubs. Maybe it can be expanded as well, just to bring more flavor and more recognition to the job that is being well done. I think the Americans have the privilege of witnessing the explosiveness of a number of African players that have swapped their boots or swapped or given up or sacrificed actually to benefit Ndlovu. Ndlovu being pushed out by Mpaso. A bit of a high press for the moment. You need to get that consistently from Silver Strikers. Caroline also getting involved. Ball nicely picked up. Here's Chikondi Kondwe. Showing too much of it. Explosive is Avel Chitundu. It picked up by Endless Piri. Or is the Grupa on her way? Here's Endless Piri, and that ball intercepted, but Irene Kumalo does enough for Wezimvula to, you know, put some defensive work. Endless Piri doesn't mind too much and puts the brakes up front. And, you know, many would look at that and say it's a hopeless effort. But when you break the momentum of a team that is about to attack, that is really an opportunity to allow your team to also get into position. As Endless Piri, they're just stopping play and allowing her teammates back into position.
Silver Strikers, they were pressing up, they were all going up, but the danger of going up, they have to guard against the speedy Endless Piri. They have to be careful of her as well as Ndlovu, Mupanga as well. They are the trio which has been causing a havoc in this tournament. They should go up, but go up with caution.
Caroline. She's being suffocated as Caroline. Here's Wezimvula marauding, driving force. Caroline beaten to the ball by Major Mulenga. Here's ZESCO. with Majori Mulenga. It's like she's struggling to get the ball out of her feet, from under her feet. Endless Piri looking to turn, but she has Wezimvula for company. Eventually she decides she'll go backwards and allow Judith Soko to attack from this left-hand side. She has Avel Chitundu. Chitundu's looking for someone in the middle. There's Judith Soko. Good turn. Judith Soko on the ball. Chitundu's making herself available. 1-2. Goes into the middle of the park, looking to find Penelope Malunga. Endless Piri. Endless Piri. Riding a challenge, riding another one, and delivers a ball for Penelope. Keeper gets there quickest. Magia Nguruwe. Protecting that ball very well with the quick support play. Tionge Piri is available. The importance of the counter-attack, or even when the transitional play is being put into practice by Silver Strikers, there's not too many people coming very quickly with the player to the play, in support of the player with the ball. Here's on the edge, Silver Strikers laying it back, Mpatso. And the ball goes out for a goal kick.
Look at the third eye of Endless Piriglo. Two players were making a run. Confusion around the Silver Strikers defensing. Where is she going to take the ball? But unfortunately there for them, the goalkeeper came out to take it. But for Silver Strikers, it's an issue of having Caroline and Kakangula being way apart. Ngulu as well as Gondwe. One of them has to step up to help distribute the ball to Caroline as well as Kakangula.
Strike taken from distance from Wezimvula. Looking to see if Annie Namonje is awake. Annie Namonje coming in for an injured Hazel Nali, whom we wish a speedy recovery, together with Henry. She's another player that was injured. We were denied of seeing the brilliance of Deborah Henry, whom, if fit enough, could give us like 10 minutes or so. I'm going to ask the coach. So that's the strength, and the player stayed down. But free kick is given on the halfway line. That's to ZESCO Ndola Girls. Ball gone out, and it will be a throw-in for ZESCO. Throwing. Bit of pushing and shoving. But it is Jacqueline Chomba who stayed up. Here's Endless Piri. Chomba is available. Today, Endless Piri is taking it easy. Here's Ndlovu looking to take the shot. She does, and is closed down. Where's he? Picks up Caroline on the far side. Caroline looking to pick her head up and maybe locating Wezi Mvula. Here's Wezi on the ball. Delivers the ball inside the box. That was stopped by Jacqueline Chomba, a 25-year-old.
That was better attack from Silver Strikers. They did it with pace this time around. The attack throughout, they were a little bit slow.
Ball in, and the keeper makes a save, and it goes out for his goalkeeper Annie with the ball. I think it was just making sure that that ball goes furthest away. That was a strike there. Ball had already been out. Just making sure she closed the first pole. Silver Strikers with another opportunity, this time inside the box, but being forced out by Pauline. And oncoming is Mvula. She's alone in the box, needing support. That ball just skidding off the right boot of Chikondi Gondwe. And not to trouble goalkeeper Namonje.
We spoke about the fact that they are two apart Silver Strikers when they attack. I believe during halftime the coach is going to have a word with the midfield to try and support Caroline as well as Kakangula if they are to get a goal in this game. But as for ZESCO Ndola Girls, the defense of Ngaza, Brala, Zulu, Soko, so far so good from them. They are doing so well. They are guarding against Silver Strikers, and the midfield of Chitundu, Muluja, Mulenga helping them to try and clear up everything that the Silver Strikers may be throwing.
So as it stands, Ms. Kay, we could comfortably say that ZESCO Ndola Girls have 1 foot in the finals. They will be looking on with bated breath this evening, as Mamelodi Sundowns will be up against the defending champion in what they call a grudge game, a revenge game. It is billed as the game with the highest tension ever. And a lot of friends in that team. But once they get into the business, they forget about the friendship that is shared. A lot of exchanges as well between Gaborone United and Mamelodi Sundowns. Osija, who used to be one of the players there, good snapshot, but just not getting that on target. Quite encouraging stuff for Silver Strikers. That's Nguruwe.
Regardless of who is going to be in the finals with, let's say, ZESCO for now, if it's Gaborone United, it will be a revenge game maybe for Gaborone United after what happened midweek. If it's Mamelodi Sundowns will be looking for that revenge. I don't think they have healed yet from the defeat they suffered from ZESCO Ndola Girls a couple of years back.
Yeah, though that still stings. That pain is still pretty much on the surface. Too much kept in play. With Mirongo, quite diminutive, but really gets in the work. And the free kick to ZESCO Ndola Girls. On into the box. Keeper. With 5 minutes to go here, Ms. K. Yes, we have the 2 goals, but there's just something missing about this match. I think it's the chess that is being played, and cautiously navigating, they were pouncing when necessary. There's no freedom of expression. I guess maybe if the scoreline increases, then you'll get a ZESCO that will explode. Or is it the respect that is given for one another, knowing that a quick turn of events can change the manner in which the complexion of this match could be?
the freedom that we are talking about, girls, the freedom that will give Endless Piri more of the ball so that she can, run with that ball. We are not seeing that so far. Of course, she has, have the ball here and there, but she hasn't been, given the ball like it has been the case in the past games. And also, Caroline and the side of Silver Strikers, the situation is the same with her. We need ZESCO Ndola Girls to hold more of the ball, possess. Silver Strikers also hold on the ball, possess. But so far, it looks like the nerves got the better of the players, and hopefully the last 45 minutes, the nerves will be gone.
The nerves will be gone, and I think you're probably looking forward to a different second half. One could belong to ZESCO, the other belonging to Silver Strikers, but they're going to have to put on a big performance. They're going to have to pull up their socks. I don't know, because most of them are playing with their socks right up to the knees. They're going to have to really tear those holes and make sure they are at full stretch. Here is Endless Piri. We've seen her strut her stuff from the one end of the pitch to the other, but this time doesn't do too much. And one thing that you can spot on Endless Piri is the fact that she is playing with an injury. So she's not going to hold on to the ball. She'll carry the ball but quickly release the ball. And I think we saw evidence thereof going down. And she stayed down for a little longer than expected and holding her ankles. And it's Endless Piri.
And we said against Gaborone United when they didn't tune in, like, why not take her out? She did almost everything they wanted, booked a spot in the semi-final. But the third eye, even that ball that she passed the Endless Piri, she's always having an extra eye, seeing where her teammates are at. She has a good judgment of the environment around her, and that is a danger for Silver Strikers defense. They can't just read how she thinks.
I still want to find out, how did Endless Piri get the nickname Smooth Criminal? I don't know what is a smooth criminal, but it would be interesting. I'm sure we'll catch her in the break and find out. In Zambia, she's known as the Smooth Criminal.
And how does Glo call her?
I says, my vrpa. That's my vrpa. Absolutely fitting, the way she just changes, accelerates, gets into space and waltzes away, gets in between players, cuts them like they it's a hot knife through butter. Turn it. 19. Well, a smooth criminal, sleek, charming. No mistakes, makes it look easy. Ball into the box. She makes everything look easy. I now understand, but she does break the law. She's not one that abides by the law. That is the smooth criminal. So 3 minutes are being added on to this half. 3 precious minutes that look like hours for a team like Silver Strikers. You know, they quickly want to go to the break and listen to the words of encouragement from the coach to just quickly adjust where they need to adjust and to correct what they need to correct. Maybe even bring in new personnel. Ndlovu. Endless Piri. She's playing pretty much as a supplier today. Endless Piri, mixing her game a little bit. Running right through the player is Grace Kangula. Tsoko, Tandiwe Ndlovu is calling for it and responding. This Tsoko ball in the box, good connection. That ball just trickles in front of the goal mouth, and You got to compliment the work that Penelope Maluba puts in. Gets into the right position, helps out where necessary, and I'm quite happy that she also got onto the score sheet.
Good for her, but for the Silver Strikers defense, once again, ball watching. They do a lot of ball watching, and going for halftime, second half, we have to see the approach that the coach is going to come with. Is she still going to continue with two defensive midfielders, or you're going to have one to try and add one in your attack to get that goal that is eluding them so far? But for ZESCO Ndola Girls, rather, so far so good in terms of the goals that they have, but the play-wise, I don't think they are happy with how they are doing.
For ZESCO Ndola Girls, with 170 league matches played in the last 5 years, winning 150, losing 6 games with 15 draws or 14 draws. This team, ZESCO Ndola Girls, is the one team that beat Mamelodi Sundowns, or the first team that beat Mamelodi Sundowns in 90 minutes. That is ZESCO Ndola Girls. Free kick. We've played the 3 additional minutes, and I can assure you that with Miss Chikondi Gondwe getting a yellow card, that will put the brakes on her play in that midfield, not going in as freely as she would have. Throwing some caution, and a referee blows a whistle once, twice, 3 times, and allows the girls to make that famous walk back into the change rooms.
The scoreline is at 2, ZESCO Ndola 0, Silver Strikers.
2-0 is the scoreline. Goals that were scored in the opening 2 minutes. The first one by Penelope Maluba and the other by Charity Mubanga. So getting into a huddle, I think the teams rightfully fixing up their own mistakes before they go into the break to get a bit of a lashing from the coach every now and then. And the goal mouth as Annie Namonje made sure that she narrows the angle and denies Silver Strikers. Up in the air, plucking it as if she's picking lemons, and eventually the ball switching to the opposite side, to the other goalkeeper. So ZESCO with 2 goals to the good, and a first half that tells you this story. It tells you that there were 3 shots from ZESCO, 2 of those on target, and the Silver Strikers have had no shots at goal. They've had no shots on target, and therefore just 1 shot that went wide. The attacking third needs to be looked into. We'll go down to Nozi and a guest for today.
Thank you to our esteemed commentators. I am joined by former Botswana International and COSAFA Ambassador, Mr. Dipsy Selulwane. Dipsy, an interesting first half. I'm sure Coach Florence is very happy with her performance. That is ZESCO. What did you think of their performance?
Yeah, it's interesting how they changed in the beginning. They played a lot of long balls. They didn't build up as much. Maybe it was the nerves because the game is starting. It's a summer final. They want to make it to the final. But as the game progressed, you could see their class come into play. They're very confident on the ball. They know how to rotate it. And Piri is showing up in different spaces on the left wing, on the right wing, even down the middle. The second goal, she picks up the ball right down the middle of the pitch and runs and draws defenders and slips in the striker, which is brilliant. I think they've got a pretty good game plan.
They've got a pretty good game plan, but also I wanted us to talk about the brilliance of the team as a unity, not just one player, because you know that Piri is one of their best, obviously, but it seems like they know how to play together as a team.
Yeah, definitely. If you look at their team shape is solid. Their two centre-backs are always there. They're working well with the goalkeeper. Their defense looks very mature in terms of controlling the tempo and controlling the pressure. And in their build-up, they are pretty precise. The only problem was in the beginning, they were rushing to play the ball forward. But as the game progressed, they got into the game and got into a rhythm. You can see how they're playing into the midfield, back to them, to the wing. If it's closed, they can come back and try and rotate it again, which looks really good.
Dipsy, you've played at this stage, and Silver Strikers obviously are debutants in this competition. Is it the nerves that's stopping them from scoring?
I think Silver Stars look pretty decent on the ball. For me, the one thing that stands out is they don't have enough bodies in the box. No shot at goal because nobody's close to the goal. They can get the ball to the wing, and as soon as they look into the box, it's all ZESCO. So there's no use to cross the ball, and they try and work the ball back into the middle, and then they lose it. I think if the coach would change that a little bit and try and get the girls to move a little bit closer to the goal, their options will come out because they are pretty decent on the ball. They do rotate it. They do try and play. Unfortunately, they don't have enough bodies around the box.
What do you think the coach is saying to them right now?
I think to keep trying to find that precise pass and have somebody have bravery to leave their role to go and attack. Because I think in their minds is that, we have this lethal attack of ZESCO, so we have the bodies to defend them. But in transition, they have to risk the game. They're losing, so why not be brave and try and get closer to the goal? Maybe they can get something.
And for Coach Florence, what should she do in the second half to make sure that obviously they don't lose that lead?
Consistency is very important. They're in the game now. They're in control. They are not under threat at the back. So it's to just keep the ball, keep rotating it. And if the gaps open in the half spaces just behind the midfielders, Piri hopefully can get onto the ball and have something creative.
Thank you so much. That was former Botswana International and now COSAFA Ambassador Dipsy Selulwane saying that for ZESCO, they need to make sure that they stay consistent in the second half. Now I am going to be joined by Mr. Felix Tangawarima, COSAFA Referee Manager and VAR Project Manager, who is going to share with us why we have VAR today.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. We have VR today, and it's exciting that in Botswana we are actually playing with VR, with a Botswana referee on VR. And the reason why, COSAFA, we have actually trained enough referees to do our tournaments with VR from the tournament. You will find out most of our certified VR referees were in WAFCON. And, we cannot just officiate with any referee, so we had to start at the semi-finals.
And obviously you did have a training for the referees. Can you please tell us more about that?
Yeah, you see, this is the benefit of hosting COSAFA tournament. And COSAFA is a development region. What we did is we had 20 Premier League referees from Botswana. We were training during the before the semi-finals. The reason why is Botswana is wanting to roll out the VAR in the country, and it's part of COSAFA development program, so that when eventually the VAR comes here, Botswana have got enough referees to officiate. We don't want Botswana to be taken by surprise when they want VAR and they don't have referees. So we have actually trained. I can confidently say that if Botswana wants to roll out the VAR now, we have enough of referees. We have trained enough referees to roll out the project.
And how important is it obviously for Botswana to have VAR, but also to introduce VAR to women's football?
For us, really, it's very important that we need anything which can help our referees to do the correct decision. And you'll find out the moment you bring in VAR, you will not have all these, adverse comments, people complaining, goal, penalty, and all those. Those will be eliminated, because in this situation, every situation is being monitored by the VAR, and there is communication between VAR and referees. Wherever they may have made an error of judgment, VAR will intervene. So it is very important if Botswana bring VAR into their Premier League. It means you are guaranteed of fair officiating in terms of the goals and everything, because everything will be checked on. So it's really very, very important. And I think this is a rehearsal for Botswana to roll out the VAR in the country.
Thank you so much. That was Mr. Felix, the manager of referees at COSAFA, talking about the importance of VAR in Botswana, not just in Botswana, but as well as in women's football in the COSAFA region. Do join us back for the second half.
So if you're watching us on Kucharo Sports TV, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you don't miss out on the next
welcome back to the second half. And if you are just joining us, the score is 2-0 in favor of ZESCO Ndola Girls. Goals that were scored in the 10th minute. And on the score sheet it was Penelope Maluba and Charity Mubanga. A second half in which we are expecting Silver Strikers to take the game to ZESCO Ndola Girls, who seem to have one foot in the final. 90 minutes is on the cards. Well, 45 have already been played, 45 to go. And if the scoreline for some reason ends up in a draw, we go straight to a penalty shootout. There is a change that is being made. We'll get to tell you who the player is. It is ZESCO Ndola Girls that seem to be first to make that change. Daka is standing on the touchline, and Avel Chitundu is being substituted. So Daka for Chitundu. Captain has given her bit.
This is the second half of this match. ZESCO Ndola Girls versus Silver Strikers. The scoreline is at 2, ZESCO Ndola Girls 0, Silver Strikers.
Sinyat Singh. ZESCO get us underway. They are in the orange uniform and Silver Strikers in the white and blue.
That's Glow saying Chitundu going out as a midfielder who was supporting Ndlovu Mubanga and Piri, and having Daka coming in as a forward. It says to them they want to add the numbers. They have seen the loopholes in that defense of Silver Strikers. They are looking to exploit those loopholes even more and eventually try to get more goals.
Simplifying football, that is. Here's Ndlovu for ZESCO. Cuts, was looking for space to try and just send that ball to create space for herself. And ball, last touch coming off Mabel Walia, the 23-year-old. She's one of those players that has played every minute silently. She's got the captain's armband today. That's Mabel Walia. Oh, that ball just skidding off the boot. It goes out for a throw-in. Ruth Nyirongo. Mabel. We've had Annie Namonja on holiday, the goalkeeper of ZESCO, and she's also one of those players that seems to love pushing up the field and then becoming like a keeper sweeper. We saw that with Mamelodi Sundowns as well. But what they do is they tend to keep the keeper busy by playing her those short passes, getting into space, because it is important for a keeper to stay warm, to get involved, to be focused, because in this particular manner they can catch her cold.
And look at where she is.
And looking at where she is. She will be scampering back into the goal mouth. For the moment, we have a corner in favor of ZESCO, and Daka is the player that delivers the quality ball. Header to get it away. He has an opportunity for Silver Strikers to take it forward with Grace Kangula. But an important foot in that just broke that momentum. Away by Ruth Nyirongo. Wezi Mvula. Penelope Maluba. But here's Chikonda. Looking to get that ball out wide. Tionge Piri inside the box. Looking to thread it through, but it will be held back by Wezimvula. A sea of orange, or the Orange Brigade, is in full force, or the Orange Army, and eventually that long ball from Ngulure will just relieve that pressure. They had them on the back foot, and I think they could have just kept circulating that ball instead of getting frustrated and hoofing it over the stands there.
Patience is what they need, the Silver Strikers, if they are to get a goal. But you look at ZESCO Ndola Girls, they defend in numbers, and when they go out, they also go out in numbers. Silver Strikers, once you go up and get that frustration, go up guarding against the speedy wingers of ZESCO Ndola Girls.
Well, here's an opportunity for Silver Strikers. It's played back, but slightly overcooked, looking for Wezimvula. Instead, it is Penelope Malubu who was picked up. And but stop-start here, ball going out. You've got to look at maybe an improvement in the number of entries that the ball is making in the box. You're also looking at the middle of the park, where you could say about 65% of that ball is played. Pretty much a lopsided heat map here that one is seeing. In the attacking third of Silver Strikers, you find ZESCO piling on the pressure, and their defense pushing up front, giving them the numbers. There's the bounce of the ball, one that will not trouble Irene Sibande, but it was a snapshot from Jacqueline Chomba. 63 goals in the previous tournament. I don't think we're going to reach that. Once we get to the business end, the score lines are pretty reasonable. Nothing too high. There's no 8-9 as we've seen in 7s or 5s. It's usually 1-0, 2-0, 2-1. So another delivery, and that ball just trickles for a goal kick.
One is looking at the approach of Silver Strikers in the second half. They have added one player more going forward. They are now having one defensive midfielder. But for ZESCO Ndola Girls, you are creating these opportunities, these chances, and you're not utilizing them. And I believe the coach of Coach Florence, she's up on her feet. She wants more goals from her girls, but unfortunately, they are a little bit wasteful in there.
Well, we also want to congratulate the best 11 and the coach in the group stages. We've had Liluna Daweti up front. She's supported by Charity Mubanga. You also then have Annalise Piri, that's your top 3. And I think you agree with it. She's full of smiles in the middle of the park. And this is a 3-4-3 formation that has been put together. You then have Irene Kumalo of Silver Strikers. You then have Lisiko Radio Kanye in that midfield with Isabel Ludwig of Mamelodi Sundowns. On the right-hand side, you got Lucia Mozambique. Wasn't she quite a live wire? Lucia, who leaves this tournament with, 3 goals to her name. She completes the midfield trio. Then in that defense, you've got Karamini, as well as Kutso Pila, and you then have Kisehofense Muchawe in the mix, and Andile Dlamini in the polls. So that is the best 11 of the group stages. And would you have put in a few more players here, or taken out a few more players, Ms. K?
I absolutely agree with the technical study group with there. I believe it was a headache for them. It wasn't easy. A couple of players having, a great group stages, but unfortunately you can only pick 11, and those 11 players were the ones who were outstanding.
Well, you also have on the bench, let's have a look at Endless Piri release. Dakar toe post that, and it goes into the goalkeeper. So you've got Natasha Nali of ZESCO Ndola Girls. You've got Tumare Agnes of Herentals. and Bokang Ntane of Lesotho Defence Force. I think that is such an awesome player, together with Reitu Metsinamane of Lesotho Defence Force. They may have been eliminated, but they were like real soldiers in this tournament. Ball goes out, and it is a throw-in. You got a Tama in the mix, or Tama. What is it? Tama. Tama.
Yes.
Okay, Tama. Give it a sekgowa. Ball in the air. ZESCO Ndola Girls with Irene Kumalo. Analyst Peary, keeper gets there quickest. They've got her number today. Irene Kumalo. Bobo Danai. Remember Bobo? What do we call her? Vinicius Junior.
Vinicius Junior.
Bobo Danai. She's on the bench. Lucia of Ntigizini Hotspurs. Nadia Farangwana of Kosovo. I think the technical team was being fair here. They've got a player from every team. Intercepted in the midfield by ZESCO. It's Pualia. Refilwe Tolagele of Mamelodi Sundowns.
The local girl.
The local flavor.
Yeah.
Madiana Nguruwe. Tionge Piri. Caroline. Tionge will deliver it into the box. Header! Keeper does well. And he stands firm. The two players are down. But that was a lovely taken header. And keeper also was pretty much alert.
Great positioning as well from her.
Good hands. I think I've been pretty impressed with Annie since, I mean, she hardly gets an opportunity. Let's look at this in the replay. You had Caroline looking to thread that ball through, but then Tionge Piri helped her out, and then the two clash of heads there between the two players. And that is load shedding stage 3.
Fund and ones and twos, ZESCO at the back. Beautiful header by Caroline. Unfortunately for her, Annie was very much alert. Great positioning. We spoke about her not getting much of action, but it shows that, you know what, I may not be that active, but I'm seeing the situation.
And when I get an opportunity, I take it. Because to be fair and honest, she's been fantastic. She's been awesome. She commands her area very well. That is Annie. And she really gives the instructions, organizes her wall. And I think her handling, that is horrible. Players got maybe needing a couple of stitches there. The ice to try and stop the bleeding. But for the moment, ZESCO Ndola Girls will be down to 10 players on the field, and the indication is that they would need to bring on a substitute. She may be needing stitches, and hence, because you cannot come onto the field with blood, that will be very important, as Ikovu does well. She's looking to deliver the ball. Keeper blocks it away. And the defense there, look at that. Knew exactly that the keeper had come out and tried. There's another player that goes down. It looks like Penelope Maluba. She's holding a knee or a hamstring.
That attempt by ZESCO Ndola Girls, the communication between the goalkeeper and defender, there was no communication.
Communication of silver strikers.
Yeah, silver strikers. No communication whatsoever. They went for the same ball. And, look at that. Beautiful cross. Defenders and facing the wrong direction even. You can't defend while facing your own goal post. Communication, nothing. And let's put it there. She knew the goalkeeper was out. Just unlucky that ball went up.
Well, Mpaso Gondwe doing well to help that ball on. I think the goalkeeper should have parried it over the bar, away from danger. That is looking or inviting trouble when, as a goalkeeper, you fluff that ball into play. You will then get people like Endless Fury that are quite lethal in that area and in that space. It could punish you. Grace Kangula is calling for it, but instead it's Wezi Mvula. He's looking for Irene Kumalo. Good turn. Use of the hand there. Mabel Bwalia guilty. Jamikani is warming up just below our commentary booth. Yamikani Mango. Keeper. That ball was not a bad effort at all.
Substitution for Silver Strikers out. This number 15, Tionge Piri in. This number 6, Yamikani Mhango.
They're taking out a defender, bringing in a forward, Silver Strikers. The intentions are clear. They are no longer trying to be defensive. Like they came up with that approach of being defensive in the first 45. Now they're saying, you know what, the time is going. We are running against time. Let's push the numbers. Let's try to also get the goals in this game.
While talking about the numbers, here's Endless Fury looking to take on that Mpaso. And Mpaso's been quite decent defensively. Just applying the safety first. They're getting that ball first away. Coming from deep is Mabel Bwalia. Finds Ndlovu. Good turn by Ndlovu, and again clash with the goalkeeper. And a free kick. Keeper stayed down. We'll get to see who this player is that went straight for the goalkeeper. It looks like Mulubwa. We'll get to confirm. So 2-0 is the scoreline. We are yet to add more to the tally.
But Silver Strikers, it's been a couple of minutes now. ZESCO playing with one woman down since the injury, and they are not utilizing the fact that ZESCO is having shortage of players in the field.
Well, it is Mila Milambo, a player who will come on wearing jersey number 10. Lanky player with the presence on the field. Mila Milambo together with Dorothy Yamba. Muchenga. Esther Muchenga will come on. Mila Milambo is also waiting. Come on. Quickly pouncing onto that ball, Ruth Nyirongo. Mvula. Zdaka.
ZESCO Ndola Girls got to be given credit, playing with, 5 minutes, more than 5 minutes, in fact, to play a shot, and they are being composed. They are fighting with the Silver Strikers, woman to woman, like we are seeing the Silver Strikers looking for the goal.
Kumalo Yamikani! And that is the one goal they pull back. Deflection, Caroline Mathiola piling on the pressure, but it's a deflection of Endless Piri. She's doing it all. Endless Piri. It's like an own goal. And that is painful. Let's see what a response will be. That deflection, what does it do? The bench is asking for the strikers to pick it up.
Goal
Get the energy, find the energy.
Substitution for this.
But that goal, we will also look at the technical team and say was long indicated, make a change. They delayed to make the changes. Silver Strikers, we spoke about the changes they made, taking out a defender, bringing in a forward. The intention was clear, to push for that goal. And you look at how that goal came about from Silver Strikers. It was a beautiful goal. You look at it, beautiful pass. The run here, losing the ball. Look at how many Silver Strikers players, 3 players, taking a shot. And he tried to save it. Caroline trying to clear, rather, Endless Spirit trying to clear. The ball falling into Caroline, and the rest is history.
But this is what coaches always say. You just never know what happens. Go there, take your chance. I mean, they were outnumbered. There was only 2 or 3 white jerseys in that moment. And the deflection favoring Silver Strikers. So, Endless Esther Muchava has come on. I didn't see ZESCO change their mind with the substitution there. They continued. So, Tandi Wendlovu's given way, and Penelope Malubwa has given way, the goal scorer. And it is Esther Machava and Mila Milambo that have come on in here with about 35 minutes to play. While some tired legs out there, it's been a long tournament, and a tournament with high intensity, and the weather conditions, you're bound to maybe get the business end a little scrappy every now and then, or the players not overexerting themselves.
Even the body language tells you the story of how the tournament has been. It has been a long tournament, a little bit of rest, but at the end of it all, they have to come to the pitch and do what they have
They
to
had
do.
1 day rest, which was yesterday, but trust me, the players were hard at work. They were in training, preparing for the semi-finals. As we know that the early departures of this tournament have made their way and are safely in their country. Tsingizini Hotspurs made their way home. Lesotho Defence Force is also on their way home. Herentel Queens gone. Costa de Sol gone. Caroline delivered, and that ball was already out when Annie was put it into the handbag.
They need more of that from Caroline. We saw her against Nsingizini scoring a hat-trick. She was just a danger in the defense, and they need to involve her more. Now that they have more numbers forward, Silver Strikers.
Mugulue. Caroline with a bit of a push. So just one change for Silver Strikers. Hango Yamikani. 2-1. That is a bit of the push from Caroline. Judith Soko was up with a smile on her face, wasn't too perturbed, knows that this is played in the spirit of the game. Mila Milambo, timely touch. Well, there's a bit of a wind that is disturbing us in our commentary booth. The papers are flying, and the players out there are enjoying every minute. Whips it in the air. Endless Fury is calling for it. See what a goal does. Mistake. Mila Milambo! And that ball. So free kick this time, Silver Strikers. The referee's really been quite calm about this match. Nobody breaking a sweat. As Florence, for once, I'm seeing her absolutely stressed. There's Yamikani Kumalo. She'll take that ball on and take Ruth Nyerongo on. ZESCO finished in Group A with 100% recorded 9 points, 3 out of 3 wins, no goals, no draws and no losses. The Lesotho Defence Force having left with 0 points in this tournament, and so did Nsingizini Hotspurs with 0 points. Highest scoring teams coming from Group B, one in which comprises of Mamelodi Sundowns, Silver Strikers, Costa de Sol and Nsingizini Hotspurs. Ball out for a throw-in.
I like how Irene Khumalo in the second half is being, helping in attack, how much she's going forward. She is visible in the second half as compared to how she was in the first. And she played a role in that goal that came in for Silver Strikers.
For now, they're breaking up play. It would be heartbreak if they have to concede, especially in a time when they are trying to find their footing. But again, that player on the ball has been fantastic today. We're talking of Ngulure. She's really controlled that midfield for Silver Strikers and has gotten herself into space. Yamikani. So there is a water break that is happening right now. The referee just getting the players hydrated, as well as visit the coaches to get the words of wisdom and adjustments where not possible on the field. But let's have a look at that slow-mo. And Khumalo, they're just bringing in Yamikani, and who laid it. In actual fact, she was looking to pack it with the lasers. And Ennis Peary, unlucky in that moment. But this is also what happens when the box gets too busy. When you have too many players there, lack of responsibility and not knowing what's happened. And that's a player that will be forgiven anyway.
Yeah, well, she will be forgiven. She's a player who can give you something out of the blue. And I believe that goal said to her, you need to give more in this game. But that goal, so many defenders of ZESCO Ndola Girls in the box. And Silver Strikers, they had 2-3 players in there. Wow, what matters most is the end result, and the end result was a goal. But you look at how the second half Silver Strikers came up with a better approach. They were no longer defensive. They were attacking. They are going forward. They are looking for that equalizer. ZESCO, they know, Glow, that should they get a goal, it will be almost the wrap of this game and prepare for the finals. But how is it going to come remains the big question. They are not possessing like they were throughout the tournament. They are not holding into the ball. It looks like players who are a bit scared, taking of responsibility as well, more especially when they are in the final third.
Well, again, you got to look at it, and for as long as they are in the lead, they will be cautious to give up that lead. The team that should be taking advantage of if I could call it a very held back ZESCO Ndola Girls today. They're not as ferocious, they're not as energetic. And it's really been, they're there, but Silver Strikers have got the belief, they've got that hope, that ball that found the back of the net, even though it was an own goal. But, the presence of Caroline forcing that error has given them the hope and the belief that they can get the second one. Miss K, you like to say that 2-0 is a very, very bad scoreline. It's not one that gives you that insurance. And we're seeing here that on the back foot now is ZESCO Ndola Girls, and Silver Strikers are more confident on the ball.
More confident on the ball. And Silver Strikers, you look at the side they played before coming here, Singizili, it wasn't a game that took a lot from them. Maybe as compared to ZESCO, who played Gaborone United, a very tough encounter, which took a lot of energy from them. Probably that's the reason why we are not seeing the ZESCO that we have been seeing throughout the tournament. And Silver Strikers, they're having a much better second half. All they need to do is the patient build-ups if they are to get an equalizer.
Ball out, it's going into row, fifth row of the stands there. Or is it called Sunshine Stands? But there's a name for that stand on the southern end of the field. Throw in. There's a player who stayed down on the ground. Here's Daka looking to waltz away. Daka releases Endless Peering. And as she tried to take that strike, there's a penalty given. There is a penalty given and deserving of that. As Endless tried to let drip, she cocked that gun. And when she was about to pull the trigger, it looks like Mvula pulled the trigger. So there is a penalty that has been given. Let's have a look at it very quickly. Endless going in there. There's the moment. Chopped down like they're chopping a tree from this angle. Didn't even touch the ball. She didn't touch the ball. You go into the box. You don't touch the ball with that particular strike. You go in and you chop the player down. It is a penalty. As Caroline also receiving treatment. So very clear penalty there. KK doesn't agree with me. No, Miss K doesn't agree with me.
I'm actually looking at the Silver Strikers bench.
Wait, Miss K, let's have a look.
Let's have a look at it.
There's the roll.
Did
right.
Mvula touch the ball?
Let's see. You see, she lets drip.
She touches the ball first. I believe Abongile Tom and his team in the VAR are having a look at it. I believe she touched the ball first. But can we get it again?
More discussions happening. I wonder if there is a VAR check in place for that one, whether or not she touched the ball first, but again, coming from the side. So 75 minutes on the clock, 15 minutes to go. 2-1 the scoreline. It looks like there is a VAR check. There's a debate happening. Checking of VAR. They're being summoned. This is why we like VAR. Abongile Tom and his team has been called to duty, and we are waiting to get the first decision. That's the moment. Does she get the ball first?
According to me, she does.
Let's watch this debate. The referee having a look. And there she cuts in. Okay, there's nothing wrong there. That is a better angle. She wins the ball. She touches the ball first, then the follow through. And Endless Fury there. We're not trying to convince the referees other way. I think the ball was available there, to be fair, on Mvula. She touched the ball first. And the referee's decision is what we are waiting for. You see why we appreciate the camera tight and close up and making sure that without fear or favor, the different angles is what we will see. And still being looked at. Mvula touches the ball first, gets it away from Piri, and player goes down.
It's situations like this where we say when it's not a penalty, we say Mvula there, she was brave, she did well. But if it was a penalty, we're gonna say, what were you doing?
And there you go. It is disallowed. The touch was on the ball first before it touched Endless Peary, and it's no decision, no penalty after several consultations. And hope for Silver Strikers. So disallowed decision there, Endless Peary. Tucked away. Here is Kumalo giving chase. Yamikani also in the mix, and so is Grace Kagula. Ball in the box, header coming in for Caroline. Misses that, but will give chase. Mila Milambo will try and keep it in place. Caroline says, come, let's keep that pressure on. And Caroline. Ball just coming off Dakar. 10 minutes to go to the 90. Kangula. Caroline. Doing well. The ball intercepted by Pauline Zulu. I haven't seen the ZESCO so uncomfortable in a long time. I haven't seen them so uncomfortable in a long time.
They are now all going back to defend ZESCO Ndola Girls, and it's a team which, when they go back, when they get the ball, when they counter-attack, they can be so harmful to the teams. But this afternoon, they haven't been the ZESCO Ndola Girls, like we said. Probably the energy is gone. They used a lot of energy from the Gabriel United side, and they came up with an unchanged starting 11. A team which has, unchanged starting 11 more than any of the teams taking part here.
That's probably something to backfire as Endless Peary. It's time. Closed the gate. We're picked up by Wezi Mvula. Yamikani is looking for the run from Wezi. And trying to thread that ball through the needle. Majori Mulenga, all of a sudden the ball seems very heavy. Endless. Throw in. It belongs to... Well, we've had 4 players that have not seen action on the bench of ZESCO Ndola Girls. They are not being used by Coach Catherine Katia. And yet to make their debut. Those are the players that you would probably hope that they have something to give and share. We're talking of Alubi Bottom. That's on Silver Strikers, Bottoman. We're looking at Yamba. Dorothy Yamba is one of those players that has not had a single minute. We also have Letitia Lungu is another one of those players that is yet to get minutes. Then you've got Grace Kapanza, and you also have Annie Kunga, who also has not had much of the action yet from ZESCO Ndola Girls. You're looking at Silver Strikers. You've got Elubi Botoman, Ruth Mandala. Yeah, mistake being made. This Endless Peary will punish you. Yes, she's looking for that return ball. Is Endless Peary. Now the ball whipped into the box, but this time too close to Miss Irene Sibande, the goalkeeper of the season in Malawi. Part of the under-20 national team. She's just 18 years of age, is goalkeeper Irene Sibande. She was part of the team that was making some statement there, part in looking to claim a spot in the FIFA World Cup, the under-20s. And Malawi was eliminated on the last day. Disappointment aplenty. Push on Chikondi Gondwe. So we also have Justina Jumbo. She hasn't had minutes in this game. Samir Amidou is another one that hasn't had minutes in this tournament. Well, for Silver Strikers, if the scoreline remains as is, it will mean that Samir and company would have come to the tournament and not played a single minute of any of the matches. Mila Milambo looking for Endless Piri. Good cover defense there for Silver Strikers. Eventually, Ngulue, the floodlights go on just to brighten up the space. One of
substitution for ZESCO Ndola Girls out. This number 8, Charity Mubanga in. This number 25, Frida Gabo.
Will find a way out, and the player to come is Frida Kabwe. She's just played 52 minutes as Frida Kabwe.
You look at the substitutions of ZESCO Ndola Girls, they haven't really brought that a change that one can, talk about or one has anticipated. They haven't brought anything. And one will be looking at Frida coming in to say, what are you going to provide? She's forward. They want that security goal. Should they go 3-1 up, they'll know that, they are in the finals. But the changes they have made of Mila, of Muchinga, honestly speaking, they haven't brought any
They haven't
impact.
given them the desire to go forward, and that's also credit we've got to give to Silver Strikers, who have spotted a bit of frailties today and are pushing the numbers forward. I think it's just their decision making in that final third. So free kick to Silver Strikers. Played short. Kumal, Caroline. Ball into the box, and the bounce comfortably into the hands of Annie Namonje. Well, you've had Ascent Academy also play this competition. You've had Ntopwa who were present. And the free kick to Strikers. Ball in the box. There's Daka protecting it very well, but turning into trouble. Daka winning the free kick. She's eager to go forward. Safety first by Ruth Nyerongo. ZESCO out to the left to Miss Balia. Endless Piri looking to cut inside, delivers the ball, but that finds a white shirt instead. The left foot. Jacqueline Chomba plucks it down. Mili Milambo is coming and hogged on the left-hand side of the field. Throw in for ZESCO. Have they done enough is the question, with 3 minutes to go to the 90, plus referee's optional time. Ball hacked away by Wezi Mvula. She's really been fantastic today, is Wezi.
She was so the defense of Silver Strikers in attack, also giving you those options. She was just the player to watch in the Silver Strikers team, and maybe the entire game. We always say the unfortunate part is that most of the time, player of the match comes from the winning team.
Well, yeah, most of the time. Maybe this could be a first. Frida Kabwe looking to find Endless Piri. Miss Gondwe, Patsno. Over the top, yes, 3 against 1, and keeper's done well. Had about 3 players in that attack. Kabwe. Yes, Mila Milambo. Mila closed down. Defense does the job. And Irene Sibande gave chase. You got to give credit to Chikondi Gondwe. She did well as that ball took the sting off the strike from Mila Milambo.
And Mila, for her coming in as a sub, one will believe that she still has more energy, but she didn't bring what one could, talk about. She had the time, managed to dump the first player, take a shot and see what happens.
Delivered as that ball again, the defense being very compact into the hands of Miss Sibande. Yamikani on the receiving, takes it out to Caroline on the right hand side. Caroline plays it first time, looking to pick up Kambula, and just slightly overcooked. Here is the business-like Wizi. Where's Mvula? Where's Mvula's done well again. 7 minutes ought to be added. Well, you've got to... Where's he? Was quite opened and looking for the return ball. 7 minutes to be added. That's due to the VAR maybe delay here and there. And we've had the injury to the one player that was taken off from ZESCO. Here's Miss Catherine, Miss Florence Ngatia. Daka, turn. Had to be decisive in that decision. Ball just ricocheting, keeper very quick. And in the way and offside was Daka in that move. The referee wants that ball taken in the right place. Well, the Sundowns fans have secretly booked a spot and have found their way into the main stands. They want to be behind the goal mouth. That is to see the action. Not forgetting that some of the fans of GU are starting to trickle and find their way to the stadium. So we have a look at the earlier attempt.
For ZESCO Ndola Girls, it's an issue of switching on. Let's switch on, let's concentrate with almost 6 minutes to go. But for Silver Strikers, we have nothing to lose. Let's go forward and look for that goal.
Yes, Endless Piri. What would she do? Puts it away. That's pretty close. The one time when she breaks away, Endless Piri was not able to put a collar onto that. And she using that pace and with the outside of the boot trying to get a bit of spin on it. Miss Piri, she looks very upset though. Is Endless Piri. Someone moved her cheese. There's Daka. Khumalo. Good take, Yamikani. Out to Caroline. A bit of a push. Well, if it doesn't work out for you in many ways than one, Analyst today is unhappy. She scored an own goal. And, Kumal, Daka, Yamikani. Muskondwe. Get turned there by Endless Piri. Yes, she cutting through. Looking to cross that ball in his Endless Piri. The Vrpa. Papa. In the middle of the park is Soko. Daka. Picked up by Vula. Could this be what strikers need? It opens up or takes us to penalties. Irene Kumalo holds on to the ball. And Wesley with acres of space. And keeper collects it very easily. Annie Namonje.
Decision making there from Kumalo. I mean, Mvula was open, on the side. She should have just passed it to her. They lean in across. We'll never know what will happen. The goal came with the ball being flattened in the area, and they scored.
Patsogondwe. Keeper chewing all those precious seconds, and the referee will be counting. 1, 2. She's outside her line and having to be very careful. I've seen some of those being given as indirect free kicks. Here's the Silver Strikers on the edge. Yamikani. Kabwe. So a frantic end to this match, where the one team is barely trying to get over the line, the other team breathing rather heavily. The other one's almost breathless. On oxygen masks is ZESCO Ndola Girls. They are really trying to get into gear. But for Silver Strikers, they seem to have had more.
They need to hold into the ball. They need to possess ZESCO Ndola Girls. Shoot those minutes with the ball at your feet. They don't need to rush like they're rushing every ball. They're trying to pump it up, pumping it high, and Silver Strikers easily win. And Silver Strikers easily wins. And Silver Strikers easily wins.
Dube. 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 Really a scary moment for the coach to look at and really a scary moment for the coach to look at and see. How much this has drained off of the players. Every single one besides Milando was down on the ground the minute that whistle lifted. And had Silver Strikers utilized a lot more of fresher players, we could be talking a different story. But these are soldiers out in Zambia that know how to navigate the most difficult. And they are looking forward to a rest tonight. And that's how the game ends. It is ZESCO Ndola Girls 2 and Silver Strikers 1. So our player of the match goes to Chomba. As we have a look at the highlights, header that was pretty close in the second half. Caroline trying to come alive, looking to throw that ball through one more time, a back heel, and that was the goal that was scored by Mulubwa. So ZESCO Ndola Girls were not done with yet, with Endless Piri becoming a provider in that for Miss Mubanga to get her name on the score sheet. The poor communication in that defense causing all sorts of problems. And ZESCO, who believed they had done enough, but Caroline persistently whipped that ball into the box, and the keeper there was quite determined to smother that and deny another opportunity for Silver Strikers. Miss Ndlovu was not done yet, a bit of an indecisive